Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Angel Cop. It's a 6-episode anime series that, according to IMDb, the first episode came out in 1989, and the next 5 all came out in 1995. I don't know if that was just American premieres or if something's wacky, but it definitely has the old school style, heavily black colors, and lots of heavy black shadows for the animation style. So that's fun. I like that style. Maybe because I don't see a whole lot of it nowadays, so it's fun to see that throwback and to see how that can change the feel and the look of a show. I will say though that they fire pretty much all regular guns, and all the guns sound like lasers. Like their choice of sound effect for pew pew of guns was more like shoo shoo. Still fun though. And then still with that old school animation style, the heads are so much smaller than the like hugely wide shoulders of the big buff. They're not even brawny characters. They're just supposed to be like regular cop type dudes, and their heads relative to the size of their shoulders is just redonkulous, which is still, in my opinion, kind of fun. What I will say that isn't so great is, especially in like the last episode or two, there's a couple characters that I think are supposed to be just really, really buff, and instead I don't know if they just had a wide shot, and so they just kind of approximated the squigglies of the arms, and then they had to end up having to zoom in, because animation was fucking expensive back then. But the muscles or the arms, like where the joints are and everything else, it looked a little funky. Like the arms just had a bit too angularity for where the muscles were supposed to be. It was a little funky in my opinion. But generally speaking, I liked how they did the explosions and the gunfire and the chases. Like it had good energy, and I like that. I like that it's old school because terrorists are commies and they're the bad guys, so that's fun. And I will say there are a couple of very gruesome deaths. Like it's 2D animation, but man, they do a good job of having some like fucking like a headshot just and have like brains and skull and bone and all that, and just like blah. So just prepare yourself for that. There's also a lot of F words, so that's fun. But in terms of nudity or fan service, there's not really fan service per se, at least not in the, like, I would say more modern terms of it. But there are a couple of scenes that do have titties with nipple, which is which is not as common, at least in the animes that I have seen. But this one does. However, it's not like a sexy time, like they're having sex and so it's the nipple thing. It's, like some character. It's not a sexy time nipples. It's just a character happens to get their like shirt ripped off type of thing. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. I also enjoyed the late 90s tech level that they were showing. And like I said, it had decent pacing and it was fun, and I liked the attitude that the different characters had. It was good. And I liked the gradual reveal of things. That was all fun. What I didn't like is they did have an ending. And I feel like they did technically solve the thing that they were trying to do. Like the main story plot element, they did eventually wrap it up. But it felt like, how there's sometimes when there's a book you read where it's like 400 or even 600 pages, and you're like 100 pages from the end, and you're like, there is so much going on here. How are they going to do this? And then you get like 40 pages to the end, you're like, this doesn't seem like this is wrapping up anytime. And then you're like 20 pages from the end, and then suddenly it like wraps everything up super fast, and like, this happens and that happens, and then everything's solved, and then like 5 pages of epilogue type of thing. I feel like that's a little bit of what happened here, is that the final few minutes of the final episode, they brought it all together and solved it, and then there was a voiceover for, this is what happened as the result of that thing, and blah, blah, blah. Like, all right. So I don't know if an anime continued it or what, or they just were supposed to go longer, but it's a little odd there. Also, they're not all the standard anime length episodes. Like, I think one of them was 36 minutes or something. So not quite traditional, usual 24 minutes plus or minus a couple minutes for an anime episode. But like I said, overall, I enjoy it. So if you're looking for a throwback, early, either, I guess, late 80s, early 90s animation style and explosions and guys smoking and shooting and commie terrorists, but I repeat myself. But they're bad guys, and it's a fun time. So, yeah, I'd say give it a shot if that sounds interesting to you. But that's all I have for this one. Bye.